the news about the weather in that area, and then we'll be able to give you a better picture once daylight comes. And Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley is the best one for that.
Well, it looks like things are still windy across a good chunk of southwest Florida. Let's take a look at the radar. You can see the San Carlos Park area, Fort Myers, that did see the eye of the storm come through earlier this evening. Now that is now lifting well north of the region. Now the wind's starting to come out of the west, and the west wind is what we were waiting for that potential water rise and the possibility of some storm surge. Not to the extent that we were expecting last night as the storm moved farther inland than we were expecting last night. This storm was expected to be over Tampa right around this time last night as a Category 3 or potentially a Category 4. You can see how far inland it is, and as a result of that, ended up being a weaker storm based on the angle that it came in. So for really Lee County and really the rest of southwest Florida, Charlotte County, all the way down to Collier County, it's still going to be breezy through the night. There'll still be some scattered showers, but clearly, as you can see from the radar, the most rain and the strongest winds are going to be right within that core that is now moving through Hardee County and about to move into Polk County as it moves northward towards I-4 and some of that heavier rain. But around the rest of southwest Florida, yes, the winds are still going to stay strong into tonight. More of a westerly wind across the rest of the area will help push some of that water back that ended up receding earlier this afternoon.
All right, Barbara, that's our best answer based on live weather information for you right now. We know you want to check on your home. Lee County emergency management officials and the sheriff's office assuring you they're going to enforce that curfew until tomorrow morning and possibly beyond for other nights to make sure no one messes with your home. And hopefully Irma didn't mess with your home. That's the hope for everybody tonight.
Absolutely. So obviously we're checking in with our reporters. They are stationed across southwest Florida, even on the East Coast, to bring you all kinds of information. But we also are checking in by phone with some of our coworkers at Fox 4 who happen to ride out this storm in their homes or in a family member's home. So one of our directors, Alex Pinheiro, is on the phone with us now. He's actually on Sanibel Island, and I'm very curious to hear, Alex, from you, because when we hear about the islands, these are areas that were projected to get a lot of storm surge and to be very dangerous. So, Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Amy. How you doing? Hi, Patrick. Hi, Derek.
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for being on the phone with us. So I guess tell us about your situation. Were you at a home as you were riding this storm out, and how are things, and what's it looking like now?
Yeah, so I've been here since Friday afternoon in Sanibel. I think it's like the only place in Sanibel is actually like 20 feet above sea level. So we feel like we'll be pretty good. I will say the winds are wicked crazy. It started since around, I want to say 8 o'clock this morning. The winds have just not really let up. I've been looking outside, and there's a lot of trees that have been going down. There's a lot of wind gusts still right now. So I've been on Facebook, obviously watching the newscast since this morning, trying to preserve my battery as well. But I've been watching, and I've been checking up on my friends. A lot of them have been saying that, like, oh, the storm's over. No, storm is not over. Just because it's over in one area doesn't mean that it's over everywhere. And there's still that storm surge that is coming up pretty much right behind Irma. I'm kind of watching now for all the water to start rising and coming back from the Gulf, which will be interesting. I've gone through 5 hurricanes. I was up in New York when Sandy hit. I was here when Matthew last year. I went through Charlie, Katrina, and there was one more while I was in the Dominican Republic when I was very young. And hurricanes are no joke. Hurricanes are definitely no joke. Thankfully, the location where I'm at is it stayed safe, and it still is. We lost power this afternoon around 5, 6 o'clock, but I feel like we'll be at least safe. We'll be good for now. Me and all the people that are staying here, we'll be good till at least Tuesday. I feel like there's plans in place for law enforcement and everything to start checking up on people, utilities to go up and all that. So we're very hopeful, and we'll be fine here. But it is crazy outside. I've been kind of going up to the window and checking on the winds, and it's the shift going from east and west and north and south, and all the trees just banging on the wind, all different directions. It's gnarly for sure.
All right, Alex, we're so glad you and that house full of folks in Sanibel came through it safely. We'll speak with you later and make sure everyone's still doing okay. As we've heard, the storm is not done with us yet, and we want to get back to Storm Shield 4 Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley. We've been waiting on the 11 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center, and sometimes that comes a little bit before the hour. So what have you got?
Well, it looks like the storm continues to weaken, which is what we expected with it being staying inland. So the pressure now up to 952 millibars. So the pressure continues to rise in the storm, and the wind's down to 100 miles per hour. So that's definitely some good news as the storm continues to wind down. So it's about 40 miles to the east-northeast of Sarasota, so that circulation continues to lift up towards I-4. Storm surge values now in the areas that we were talking about earlier that was 10 to 15 feet, now down to 4 to 6 feet. So we're looking at a 4 to 6 foot potential storm surge.
Which is still serious. I just have to say that.
Yes, it is. Yes. So even though it's down, it's still going to be a rise of water. So still a 4 to 6 foot storm surge potential from Captiva all the way down towards Cape Sable. The hurricane warning does remain in effect, though, through the overnight hours.
Can you say where Cape Sable is?
That's down in Monroe County, coastal Monroe County.
All right.
Yeah.
So we just want to make that clear with folks. Anything else people need to keep in mind? Keeping in mind that in the past hour or so, Cape Coral Police felt, from their point of view, it was significant enough to tweet out about the danger of storm surge and for people to take it seriously.
Definitely. And the reason why that a lot of areas, especially in Lee County, hadn't seen that water rise yet is because the winds had not turned westerly yet. Now we're starting to see that the storm's getting far enough north or far enough inland into the state, well north of the region, that those winds can turn around back out of the west. They've been easterly all day. Now that the rotation, or the circulation, I should say, with the center of Irma is now lifting well north up towards the I-4 corridor. Now we're starting to get that westerly wind across some of those areas into Charlotte County, Lee County, and down into Collier County.
You saw Adam, he was just out there talking with us live, and he said the winds were all of a sudden starting to pick up. So that's what, again, just to reiterate, emergency responders can't go out until the winds are under 40 miles an hour. So they are still seeing winds of 40 miles an hour down there.
Easily, 40, 50, 60, maybe some gusts even higher than that. They'll continue through the night. But as the storm gets farther away and it starts to weaken even more, that's when we're going to start to see those wind gusts come down. But you can see through this time frame now, still looking at wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour, even as far south as the Fort Myers area and down towards West Palm Beach. So that's not going to be changing that. As we step things through time, through the overnight hours, the winds will gradually start to come down. There's still going to be breezy here through tomorrow morning. By early tomorrow afternoon, though, once the storm enters into Georgia, that's when we'll start to see things really improve here in Southwest Florida, as far as the winds are concerned.
Anything else?